I'm no longer calling it the cost of living. I'm calling it the cost of surviving, because when the average person has to decide between buying groceries or paying their rent, that is no longer living. That is surviving. And I say that with a full chest and no regret. Have a good day.
The cost of living is no longer about the cost of living. It's officially become the cost of survival. I can't even put the air conditioner on at a time like this because it's using petrol. I'm literally looking at my petrol tank and I'm watching the fuel go down. So people can say, yeah, but get like a larger car and fuel. Bitch, I did. It's supposed to be the middle of winter. It's like 23 degrees. Like the sun is like, Gunjani. I put $1,300 in my tank the other day and you know where it's gone? Nowhere slowly. Why are we even still on 95 unleaded? Should it not be 2022 unleaded? Because we've come a long way since 95. So can we please go with the program? I mean, honestly, it's like putting an iPhone 6 in your car. Like it works, but you know, it's not the best. 47 rand for lemon creams. Are you just? I can't even go to the gym anymore. Because why? The only thing I'm cutting is my expenses. Thank you. And then Eskom comes along, they're like, how's it, bro? Yeah, Eskom, yeah, thanks. Yeah, look, we know you're dealing with a lot, inflation, corruption, everything, but we're also just going to complicate it furthermore by taking away your power. We're going to make sure it's during the prime time so that you really suffer and that the economy gets strapped even further. Oh, by the way, if you are interested in going off the grid altogether, we are going to probably introduce a 938 rand levy per month to solar powered users, because that means that Eskom's going to lose out on even more money that they can fold into their pockets. So it's a huge crisis for us. Exposed. Why don't you just tax us for the air that we breathe? Tax us for looking at the moon at night, because that's about the only fucking light that's on. I mean, honestly, eat me alive.
We are going to now implement a moon levy.
Keep going. I mean, the price of margarine. Can I just tell you something? It's only the beginning.
This is why I feel like the cost of living has never been as bad as it is right now. Because it used to be, when the cost of living was high, it was for the things that you need in life. Food, gas, shelter, etc. All those things cost a lot of money. Right now, all of those things still cost a lot of money. And also, I feel like it's just expensive to just be alive. Like, I feel like my life, as soon as I wake up, is literally just me putting down a credit card. And it's just a tab. And life is a bartender. And it's just like, what are you going to have? And I'm just like, I'm okay. I don't really need anything today. And it's just like, oh, really? Well, if you're going to be here, you're going to need to spend money. And I'm just like, what do you mean here? I'm just in the world. And it's just like, yeah, you have to buy something now. It's even getting to the point where, like, I feel like even my thoughts are getting expensive, you know? Like I could just have the thought of like, my nose is a little stuffy. And then all of a sudden I open up my phone 10 minutes later and have 12 ads for like, oh, you have a pollen allergy and you got to buy these anti-pollen allergy pills or you're going to suffocate in your sleep. Sleep is the only place I still feel kind of safe. But even there, it's like I could have sleep problems for one night and then I wake up feeling kind of groggy and all of a sudden I'm getting targeted ads for melatonin gummies. It's like all of our necessities are still expensive, and then also just every increment of our life costs something.
I'm sorry, we need how much to live comfortably in the United States? The median family income in the United States is a little under $70,000. $70,000. No state in the United States enables a family to live comfortably with $70,000 in income. So yeah, something monumental needs to be done to correct this. Because as wages continue to stay stagnant and inflation to keep going up, we're all going to be priced out. It's not a question of working harder, it's not a question of working overtime. This is now a question of structural, systematic change. This map shows that the cheapest place to live for a family is in Mississippi. $178,000. And billionaires and corporations think that they have it rough?
Is anyone else getting nervous about all these price increases and inflation? Because I'm just in shock. Like, I went to the grocery store the other day and needed more face soap. And I normally get the cheapest, simplest kind of face soap. Like, I was blessed with good skin. All of them, $13.99 plus. Not a single one under $10. Like, I went to Raising Cane's the other day, and it's like $15 for a box. That used to be like $7.99 a few years ago. What is going on? Like, what the hell? Even Trader Joe's, like my normal cheap grocery store that I go to as a single person, I used to be able to get a week or two's worth of groceries for $100. But it is damn near impossible to get a week's worth of groceries under $100 these days. I have a whole degree, and I'm struggling some days. How are people doing this? Like, this is nuts. How are people going to survive if these prices just keep going up? I'm so concerned, honestly. Not to mention insurance companies cutting back. I had to switch back to Adderall, the generic version, for my ADHD meds the other day because my insurance company just randomly stopped covering my Vyvanse. I can't imagine being a patient needing to have a procedure and the insurance not willing to cover it in this economy. This is horrible, and I fear it's going to just get worse.
Every time I think about or trying to move out my parents' house, the cost of living just get higher and higher. Like, insurance goes up, gas goes up, not to mention the fact that you got to make 3 times the rent of wherever you live at, which is kind of insane because the average person my age ain't even making what I'm making. Not to mention the fact that I check my pay stubs all the time. I'm not making as nearly as what I would make if they ain't take all them fucking taxes out of my checks every 2 weeks. Like, and I just been sitting here thinking, like, cause with me personally, when I moved out, I always wanted to move out by myself or with a significant other. And now I'm starting to realize when people move out, they get roommates. Or they move in college apartments with other people that they don't even fucking know of because the cost of living is too fucking high. How can I get a house these days? How can I get a house, bro? The average house is like 300 bands, you know what I'm saying? And like the average like monthly cost of it is like $2,500 a month. Like that's crazy. Like, and me personally, I never agreed with having to have more than one source of income. In my opinion, you having more than one source of income should be a choice. It shouldn't be, I shouldn't need 2 sources of income to fucking survive. I'm 23, bruh. God damn. I am fucking 23. And I'm already like having a midlife crisis for real. You know what I'm saying? Because I want to move out my parents' crib, but I ain't trying to live check to fucking check. Like, I'm sitting here making more money than I ever made ever in my life in a year span. And it's still not enough for me to fucking move out and be able to fucking sustain a living. Like, we're doomed, bro. And they wait until we get grown to do shit like this. Like, yeah, it's over with, bro. It's over with.
The cost of living in Canada is sick. There is no more cost of living. There is only cost of surviving. My girlfriend and I met for coffees the other day, and she owes a little bit of money to the government, and she was crying to me, saying, I don't know what to do. I'm working 3 jobs. I'm a single mother. Like, I can't afford to live here anymore. So she had a call with the CRA, and the CRA ripped her apart. They said it is unacceptable that you have not maxed out your credit cards to pay us. It is not acceptable that you are paying $1,000 a month in groceries for yourself and your 3 children. You need to cut back. So she said to them, you're telling me that you want me to take the food from my children's mouth to pay your greedy ass when it's your fault that fucking groceries are astronomically priced right now. We are all in this together. We are all suffering together. The cost of living is killing people. Families are falling apart. People don't get to see their children because they have to work 2, 3, 4 jobs. I need to let people know that there's another way. And I'm telling you, you need to start looking into the world of digital marketing, digital products, digital sales. These are all things that you can do at home. Make them at home, build them at home, implement it at home, start marketing it at home, and start making the money at home. Working your 9 to 5 is barely getting you by. You're never going to get ahead. But I'm telling you, you need to do something because this isn't going to get better. Watch what's going to happen in the housing market this year. Watch the price of groceries. Watch the price of gas. Like, we're not getting relief. This is not going away. So how are you going to get on top of it? What are you going to do to make sure that you and your family can survive. Fuck surviving. What are you going to do so that you and your family can thrive? Because it is possible. All you need to do is take the first step.
So this is not to be pessimistic, I'm just a realist. But do not feel bad for doing what you have to do in this economy. I've been seeing people post about how they had to give up their new car or how they had to go back to a 9-to-5 after doing entrepreneurship, move back in with their parents. And I know that it sucks. I just wanted to stress to you that it's not your fault. It's really the economy. As a millennial who lived through pre-pandemic and then now, it was totally different. Yes, I was able to pay off my car, but my car note was $300 a month. It was only $16,000 for a brand new car at that time. You can't find a brand new car for that price anywhere. Another thing too, when I was paying rent, it was $800 back in 2017, 2018. And that was for a 3-bedroom. That same apartment right now is $1,400 a month for a 1-bedroom. House prices, I could literally write an essay. I could write a book. The interest rates, of course, were way lower, but the house prices were not crazy. I bought my house for $165,000. The houses in my neighborhood right now are going for almost $300K, which is crazy. I say all that to say you can't take accountability for things that are just simply not your fault. Jobs are not paying that much. The economy is going up. Eggs are $31. So when it comes to doing what you have to do to survive in this economy, do not feel bad. It's just a sacrifice.
How are people affording life right now? How are people tackling this cost of living on the average American salary? I just watched a TikTok of a teacher who makes a teacher's salary. I don't know what state she's in, so I don't know how much she makes, but her 1-bedroom apartment is $2,000. And when she spends $2,000 on that 1-bedroom apartment, it doesn't even come with a washer and dryer. So she has to go pay an additional $2 every time she wants to use their washer and dryer. Okay, like, how does that leave her any extra money to spend? And then she said she had a $400 car payment, which some people were bashing her on that. But in today's economy with interest rates, that's really not that bad. And I'm sure she needs a dependable car. So you talk about teacher's salary, $2,000 in rent, $400 car payment, you got insurance, you got groceries, electricity. Like, I don't understand how people are affording life right now, and it really makes me sad for some people. You have people who are like her. She's single, she has her own salary, or families where it just works out best for them for the mother to stay home. And if the father is just making an average American salary, how are they affording life without going in a bunch of debt? This lady who's a teacher started crying because she said she realizes on her salary and where she lives, she will actually end up in more debt. Then, like, she will just continue to accrue more debt and more debt and more debt because her salary is not matching the cost of living. And what's sad is I've seen people be like, just spend less. Listen, guys, the cost of living is rising and our salaries are stagnant, okay? So there's not just spend less. That's not the problem here. The problem is the cost of living is outrageous, and minimum wage in some states is still $7.25. Teachers in some states are still paid a ridiculously low salary, even though their job is super important. I don't know what we can do about this, but I'm just going on a rant because it really, really pisses me off.
I am nearly 27 years old, and today I am moving back in with my parents. This is not the plan I had for 27-year-old me, but that is just how bad the rental crisis is at the moment. I've been living on my own for the last 3 years. When I first started living on my own, I was paying $280 a week in rent. It was actually kind of fine to pay rent on my own, and I've never had like an outstanding salary. The reason why I'm moving back in with my parents is because my landlord wanted to increase my rent now to $450 a week. Now, I live in a small 1-bedroom apartment in an old building. It's nothing flash. Sure, I live in a good suburb. I live in Malvern. I'm probably just paying for location, but I have to pay to do my laundry. There's cracks in the walls. Like, it's nothing flashy. Like, it's not worth $450 a week. That's like $2,000 a month. What are people supposed to do? I'm so lucky and I'm so grateful that I can move back in with my parents, but not everyone can do that. So what's your alternative? Like, you're homeless? The thing that really grinds my gears is that I am 99% sure that my landlord does not have a mortgage on this place, so that can't even be an excuse for landlords on here. She's owned this place since about 1980, and I know for a fact she has 2 investment properties. So she's just making money off what she can from the market. And I was like, there is no way I can afford this. And I have been an outstanding tenant, like outstanding. Rent's never been late. My inspections are always absolutely spotless. I've never caused any issues. And this is why my generation can't get ahead, why we can't buy houses. Like, I've been paying 20 grand a year in rent. But if I went to go get a house loan, they wouldn't see that as, oh, she can pay 20 grand a year. No, I have no savings because of how much I've been paying in rent and bills. That's why my parents were like, move home, save that money and try and get ahead. Like, I'm so grateful. I love my family, and I don't have any issues moving back home with them. I do have an issue with the fact that they live over the other side of Geelong, and I'm still going to be traveling to Melbourne for work. So that's going to be so much fun. But what do people do? I'm so lucky I have such a great family that I can move back in with. But what's the alternative? Homelessness? Like, the government really needs to get on top of this, because honestly, the state of the rental market at the moment is absolutely fucked.
So let me chime in on how people are making it right now in America with inflation at an all-time high. People that are making $35 an hour, $40 an hour are still broke. So you wonder, am I the only one feeling this? I know you guys are driving around in your city, seeing people still at the grocery stores, still in the fast food lines, still acting as everything is normal. But there's one thing that, if you haven't noticed, people are not using their money to survive right now. They're using credit cards. And if you look at America's credit card usage right now, it is at an all-time high. Most families are already maxed out. And I'm going to tell you one thing that's going to send everything into let's say a bad spot. They're not going to pay these credit cards back. They're spending knowing that they're not going to pay these credit cards back. And so now that these people's credit cards are maxed out, and credit companies are no longer giving them money to survive and buy their food, because we don't have any help in our food. If you make money like I make money, you go to that grocery store, or your wife goes, because I haven't been in the grocery store in I don't know how long, but my wife goes to the grocery store. And if we don't spend $600 or $700 on a grocery trip, I'm surprised. But my situation is different. I have a lot of kids, but you wonder how people are making it out here, and they are not making it off their own money. Plus, let's put the other thing in perspective. You have the government saying that job numbers are through the roof. They have created so many jobs, and people are taking these jobs. And that's not true. The fact of the matter is, people are taking on second jobs and third jobs just to put food on the table for their family. Mind you, in the richest country in the world, something's not right. If you are somebody out there surviving right now, taking care of your kids, and your money's going up, I salute you. But 99% of people right now, their pockets are suffering badly, to the point where the government even said that by the end of this month, most likely 99% of Americans will have run out of any savings. Wow. This is crazy.
Okay, I cannot be the only one that's frustrated about this, so I'm just gonna rant for a second. I am so tired of companies just being so freaking greedy. Like, I have so many examples of this, but I was chatting with my internet provider, and mind you, they raised our internet like a couple months ago. And so I was seeing if I could get a discounted rate or if they were running any promotions, because you know how you can negotiate all of your services. And they go, yeah, but your rate's gonna increase like $20 in June. No worries. So you're telling me that my internet bill went from $55 to $70 to $90 in June? And that's just one example. I have my birthday in 2 days, and I got an email from Starbucks this morning saying, oh, like, get ready, your birthday drink is coming up. And silly me, I thought that email actually meant that I could use my birthday free drink today. So I'm like, oh yeah, I'll go get some Starbucks, go up to the counter, let them know I have a birthday reward. The cashier, bless his heart, it's not pulling up. Can you show me a valid ID with your birthday on it? Come to find out you can only get your birthday drink on your actual birthday. I remember when you used to be able to go the entire week and, you could pick a day that you wanted to get your free drink. But no, it's only on your birthday now. The example that really pissed me off is I pay $90 a month for a fitness membership, class membership. And I only have a couple more classes there. And then I'm switching to Class Pass because it is way cheaper and there's such a better variety. Literally, I pay $90 a month for this. Tell me why they charge my credit card $10 and $15 today. Because I changed the class times for one of my classes earlier in this week within the time frame that you were not allowed to. And I texted the front desk saying, hey, I'm going to switch my class, and they okayed it. I just think that these companies forget that we are the ones that hold the power as the consumers, and they are just effing us over time and time again. Not to mention, there were literally no Black Friday deals. I didn't shop one thing for Black Friday. It's just getting so frustrating, seeing this as a 25, 26-year-old, everything increasing month by month, year by year, and having to cut out things that I would otherwise be okay with paying, but they just keep raising the rates every single month. I don't know, I can't be the only one feeling this way, so if you're feeling frustrated like I am, drop me a comment with something that has gone up so insanely in price that you just can't justify anymore.
How are people affording life right now? How are people tackling this cost of living?
We're not. Truth of the matter, most of us are living paycheck to paycheck with credit card debt. I know people who are legitimately putting gas and groceries on credit cards just so that they can get back and forth to work. I believe that this is what most people are now calling the silent depression. $100 has become the new $20, and it's ridiculous, but the best thing about it is that people have shifted their core values. Look at this app alone and all the videos of all the retailers on Black Friday that nobody was there. They just don't care anymore. People are realizing that if it doesn't bring value into my life, then I don't need it. And while I don't get political on this app, you're having people on both sides of the aisles going, yeah, this kind of sucks. Right wing, left wing, it doesn't matter. It's the same bird. And now so many Americans are going, I truly just, I don't care. I think it's woken a lot of people up to the idea of why are we funding things that we don't care about when all of us right here are struggling. It's changed the people's attitude in the workforce to where a job is just a job. You used to be very loyal to a job, but they've seen that there's no employee loyalty because there's no employer loyalty. People aren't putting up with toxic bosses anymore. You're either going to treat me right or I'm going to leave, because there's tons of companies that are hiring because nobody can find help. People just don't trust the system anymore, and they're starting to focus on what matters the most. Most people are out here making more money than they ever have and realizing that it's not going anywhere. So they're just not spending it. And what has made a lot of people turn their back on the system is that now they somehow either make too much or not enough money to qualify for the government assistance that they've been paying into their entire life. There are people out there who can't afford to buy the groceries, but they make too much money to get the food stamps. A lot of people are out here calling it the depression. I like to call it the awakening. People are just realizing how much they can get done on their own and that they don't need the government to hold their hand. So to go back to your question, how are people making it? Financially, I don't really know, but I'm very grateful that people are starting to look for answers.
I told myself I would never cry on the internet because I think that's so lame, but I just got our rent renewal thing for our apartment complex, and it's going up by $300 a month. $300 for a one-bedroom apartment that is not updated in any sort of way. And our complex doesn't even have nice amenities. We have a tiny pool and a tennis court. This is not a luxury apartment complex. We already pay, with all the fees and everything included, $2,000 a month, and now we're going to be paying $2,300 a month for this tiny apartment. And that's just so frustrating. I don't understand how people can live in this world anymore, and I just don't want to move again, because that's so much work and more money, and it's stressful trying to find another place, and it's just so annoying. And now I feel like I need to get a new job, and I just got this job and I like it, but it's not paying me nearly what I need. And so now I'm gonna have to go through applying to jobs again, which I did for like a whole year plus until I found this job. So I'm gonna have to go through all of that again. It's just not fair.